Got a special guest today. Honestly, one of my favorite person in the whole world. I love my dad. So we are going to share our journey, Petruco's Collectibles, how we started from just a living room, father-son business, all the way to a $1 million plus and even sold the business. So come listen. It's going to be really cool. The journey and all the tax tips too throughout this process. I'm Jonny Petrucco, an IRS Enrolled Agent, QuickBooks Pro Advisor, and it's special again today, so just want to introduce my dad, and he can share a little bit about his background with cards and how this all got started.
Well, hey everybody, my name is Steve Petrucco. Jonny is my one and only son who I love dearly, and we go back a long way, starting with this business in, I guess, 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Jonny was 7 years old, and my two older daughters and Jonny all wanted to hang out with their dad when we started going to baseball card stores, and this is right about when eBay started. And what was happening is eBay was putting out of business all these local card dealers. So we would go there and we would buy cards, and Jonny had his favorite. It was Roger Clemens. It was Mark McGuire. Christina had her favorite, was Roger Clemens, and my daughter Carrie had her favorite, and that was Greg Maddux. So they collected the players they liked. Eventually, though, all these little card shops and all the little shopping centers were going out of business. And that's what gave me a business idea. I've been in business my entire life as an entrepreneur. I had sold a business in 2001, and my new idea was that I was going to buy card inventories, not the stores, but the inventories from the cards shops, and put them on eBay. And I had all my kids learn to help with listing on eBay and pricing cards out and filing cards, and we started our own little business out of our garage and living room back in 2001.
Yeah, it was really fun growing up with cards all over my house, in the living room, garage, and everything.
True.
So it was always easy to give my friends gifts. So what were your earliest memories, Dad, with cards and collecting cards as a kid?
Yeah, well, first, let's give a shout out to Mom, because Mom allowed this all to happen.
Yeah.
Becky is the greatest woman. I've been so blessed, and Jonny, I'm sure, would agree as a mom, that she allowed us to use our garage and then our living room in which to store cards, sell cards, and list them on eBay. So thank you, Becky. We love you. I remember as a kid, I was born in 56, and I remember buying my first pack of cards in 1962. The beautiful brown border cards, and I somehow went to the store myself at 6 years old and bought the pack. I was staying at my grandma's house, and I brought it home, and I looked at it, and I loved it, and I started collecting in that year. I was 6 years old, and born in Philly, and I would go to elementary school, and sometimes I'd have a quarter. And I remember going to the local drugstore right across the street from my little elementary school, and I could get 5 packs of cards for a quarter. I had a choice: buy lunch, a piece of pizza for a quarter, or buy 5 packs of cards. And many days I did not eat because I love opening packs of cards. And that's how it all started. I then stopped collecting in 1969 because they raised the price from a nickel to a dime, from 69 to 70. And in that year, I realized that my hard-earned money, they doubled the price of cards. I didn't double my income from mowing lawns and shoveling snow. So I said, no more card buying. And that's when girls came in the picture. So I started not collecting girls, but liking girls. Yeah. But stopped collecting cards in 1969 until we just said when our kids were born back in 2001, we started up again with the new collection.
And my collecting journey didn't start with baseball cards. It started with Pokemon cards.
Yes. And Mom tells the story of how Jonny would be pushing in line at school and trading cards at church, Pokemon cards, and getting in trouble and having a little attitude problem. And this kid never had attitude problems, but it seemed like the Pokemon was driving him in a different direction. So we put a halt on that. We said, okay, if you want to collect something, we're going to go back to baseball cards, because who knew what Pokemon was back in that day?
Okay, I haven't heard that side. Maybe part of the other side, what I heard is a lot of conservative Christian households, when Pokemon came out, said this is evil and from the devil.
Yeah,
And
that too.
that was a part of it too. And I think when I was 7 years old, I felt convicted, and I'm pretty sure I ripped up some cards.
I heard, because when I was talking to Mom about it, she's the one that told me about pushing in line and trading in church. So she
So maybe it created more like behavioral issues.
It did.
Interesting. Yeah. But I got convicted, and I listened and obeyed my parents. And I remember ripping up a hollow card. Hopefully not base set 1, and I remember trading with my friends in the church sanctuary. But that's how I started, and then the business kind of came alongside, giving me something to replace that.
Exactly. And
So
that's how
that
God
was
works.
super cool.
He always replaces certain things with better things. And now Pokemon's certainly come a long way since then. So if you all had, or we had cards from back in the day in 1999 when they came out, they would be of large value. However, I think that baseball cards, vintage especially, has done even as good or better.
Yeah, I think I want to do a part 2, because if we just fast forward briefly, I like to say my dad was backsliding, because the way he started this business was stopping my Pokemon card collection.
Yeah.
But when the pandemic came, he bought so much. And you still have those Topps Chrome sealed Pokemon?
Yes, I do. So, guys, in the business, you make your money on the buy. It's just that simple. That's the way you make money in the business, when you buy and sell. So you have to buy right. And we have been doing this since 2001. And we became known in South Florida as one of the largest buyers around. And we always treated people fairly. We cared about them coming back for repeat business. We have second generation family members buying from us. And it was just, we didn't want to like hurt them when we bought. We wanted to make a profit, because that's why we're in business, but we also wanted to take care of people and treat them fairly. And that's the reputation that Petruco's Collectibles got, and has to this day, actually. So the reason I'm saying this is that we developed a clientele that they would, tell their family members, and if somebody in the family died, they bring us that collection. And we also branched out, which is maybe for part 2, but we also branched out just from sports cards, is where we started. But there became a lot of pressure on buying sports cards down here in South Florida. So what we ended up doing is we moved on to other types of collectibles, which would include autographs, memorabilia, toys and action figures, antiques, of course, Pokemon, vinyl records, pins, buttons, pennants, programs, ticket stubs, anything at all collectible. We even do Barbie dolls and G.I. Joes. So there was a lot of pressure on the sports card industry back in the early 2000s. It seemed like many people were getting into the business, so to speak. So what we did is we found a large deal in 2005, and we bought out a 1,500 square foot warehouse that was just packed with all kinds of collectibles. I mean, it had every single type of thing, and we diversified at that point where we didn't have all our eggs in the basket of sports cards. Many people stayed with just sports cards, and we were one of the first down here to go into other avenues of collectibles. We wanted to make it a family one-stop shop, so the mom could come in and look at Barbie dolls, the daughter could come in and look at strawberry shortcake, the son could come in and look at sports cards or Pokemon, and the father could come in and look at vintage cards. So we wanted to have something for everybody in our business, and that's in 2005 we made a large purchase that just kind of spread our wings and moved forward in many different areas. Our eggs were not in one basket.
Yeah, so from your perspective, what was it like having a card collectible store in all of early 2000s, all of 2010 through 2019? Some years were harder than others, in terms of, we always took our week vacation to Fort Myers, but, and we would have the business deal that goes there, and we buy a deal, and The Petit Philippe watch. I remember that one.
Yes.
Paid for vacation one year.
Do you remember the Mantle Rookie that I bought that Mom didn't want me to buy that I bought and I paid for vacation?
Was it
one
Bowman
year?
or Tops?
It was a Tops. It was a 52
Really?
Tops. Yeah. I think I paid like $5,000. We sold it for $8,000 back then.
What would it be worth today?
Oh my goodness. It was a 3. Yeah. I mean,
oh, really?
Oh,
wow.
yeah. Yeah. This is way back, but
yeah.
Yeah. We used to pay for our family vacations with buying deals.
Yeah, so we could always get away, but it wasn't easy. Some years were harder than others. So how was the experience from your perspective?
That's a good point, Johnny. We worked out of our home for quite a while, and again, we started with the garage, and then we went to the living room, and then finally we needed to get a little storage space, so we got a little storage, and then we got a bigger storage, and then we got a warehouse. I think our first warehouse was like 800 square feet. But we kept filling these things up and buying more inventory. And then we bought the big deal in 2005. The economy kind of crashed a little bit in 2008, 9, if you remember back then. And we weathered the storm. And again, I think by being more diversified with not just sports cards to pay the bills, we had all kinds of other types of collectibles. It really helped us. So we weathered that storm. And we kept growing to where we got a larger warehouse. And then we were blessed to have an opportunity to go into an actual store location next to the Sawgrass Mall back in, I guess that was 7 years ago. So that would be
2019, I think.
2019, 28. Yeah, that's 6
years. It was right before the pandemic.
Okay, so 2018, 2019. Yeah, we got into this beautiful 5,000 square foot store right next to the Sawgrass Mall. And I remember we were paying a rent of only $5,000 a month. They ended up raising it to, by the time we left, at $15,000, and that's when we left after 3 years because they tripled the rent on us. But that was a great opportunity to learn retail. It was a great opportunity to buy deals that walked in every day, make more connections that we still have today. And I'll tell you what, though, guys, retail's not easy. Retail is a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that we needed employees. It wasn't just Mom and I.
Mm-hmm.
We needed 3-4 employees that to take care of the customer base and keep the place clean and do things like that and run shifts. So it got to be a rather large business at that point.
So the first employee might have been Mom.
Yes, but she didn't get paid, so she'll remind me to this day. So, but yes, she was the first.
And I could have been the second. I don't know if Carrie or Christina, maybe I jumped ahead.
Yeah.
But
you liked it.
I did. It was the best job, the Beckett price guide, sitting in front of that little TV and sorting through the cards. And on that point, I think when we bring the tax perspective into here, there were some major tax possibilities, but unfortunately, my dad did not have the sports card tax guy to help him. Most accountants are overworked. Most are compliance oriented. They don't have the time to help you throughout the year and help you save and do some strategies. And so the accountant probably did a great job with the basic compliance work, but never told Dad that he could have saved by paying his children. And some of the ways you can do that, if you would pay them under the standard deduction, which is almost $15,000 now. So I genuinely worked, and maybe I received some allowance, but then you can work it through your business by listing the cards and giving a reasonable wage. Let's say I earned $12,000 that year. That would have been tax deductible to the business, pretty tax-free to me because it's under the standard deduction. And then we could have socked that right away into a Roth IRA or some kind of retirement. And year after year, that would have kept going. And there's a number of other strategies too that I think, I don't know if you ever got to write off the home office portion of the inventory stored in the house.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that. My accountant didn't tell me.
Yeah. And I talked to someone yesterday, and he was sharing his accountant for 20 years has done something a certain way. And yeah, it's just this information isn't available super widespread. So reach out to me if you have any questions and be happy to have a free consultation. But yeah, maybe right now we'll just do another little video and we can emphasize the growth of the business. My dad So sold the business a couple months ago, and such a blessing. So we can share more about that and the journey that took us there.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know anything else to say for now.
Yeah, guys, thanks for hanging in and listening. Johnny's always been a special young man, a special boy, not just because I'm his dad, but he's always had a infinity for numbers. He did so well in school. He loved sports cards, loved playing sports as a kid. Baseball was his favorite, and played travel ball, played football, baseball, and soccer. Coached many of his teams.
Yeah.
But so he loves sports, and now that he's doing the sports card tax guy thing, he is thrilled to be involved in a business that he loved as a kid with the cards, playing the sports. And I can tell you one thing: if you guys hook up with Johnny, he will do an amazing job for you. That is for sure.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it would have been the ideal thing. The son takes over the business, and yeah, I mean, it would have been awesome, but I'm thankful that I can still be a part in this kind of way and now service a lot more people in this space.
Amen.
So at Sports Card Tax Guy, we're helping our clients trade their IRS stress for financial success. Talk soon.
See you guys.